this is your November 2024 soul story. If you have a sun rising or moon in the sign, this is your reading. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me on the channel. We are opening up for you this month with the energy of the Fool. You know, November is a time where we zone right in with Scorpio season, and we've got a new moon on the 1st of the month, and then we zone right out in Sagittarius energy with a second new moon closing the month on the 30th. And you know, something is deeply personal for you. It's also calling you, and it might feel like it's calling from a distance, you know, maybe physically or metaphorically. There's some dream, some location, some person, but there's so much being orchestrated now that it would be difficult to not acknowledge the way in which fate is lending a hand in the direction of your life right now. And I think that you have to try to hold space to allow much of that to continue to unfold, because there can be confusion, there can be doubt, there can be uncertainty. And you know, sometimes when we look at what seems to be mirrored back to us, we see the reality of things. It can be challenging to hold space, and you know, there are, I suppose, the grey areas that hold the misunderstanding, that hold the triggering energy, that hold the disbelief, right? But your Fool is saying something to you in this month of November, Pisces. You know, it's about that belief in you, believing in the path that you're walking on, and knowing that what comes next is going to require from you this sense of bravery, this next step that feels like, you know, to a large extent there's so much that's still unknown. Right now, you have had some tough lessons, and one of the notable things taking place this month will be Saturn stationing direct in your sign. And there is going to be that clearance energy that actually allows you to see the path, if you like, so that you know when you're about to take that first step, you know, there is somewhere that you are heading, even if you still don't know all of the details, and a lot of that is still to be filled in. So the new moon in Scorpio, like I said, gets you zoned right in and focused and very intent on something. And there's almost like a silent focus with that, right, regarding your goals. And you're bringing a consistency to something because you're ready to just either initiate it or to complete some part of it that's necessary to enable the next step. And I don't think anyone else can do it for you. I don't think anyone else is capable or necessarily understands. And, you know, like I said, it's personal, right? I think you are also under this consideration, just, you know, how much energy perhaps has been wasted and, you know, devoted and directed towards the doubting of something. And there comes a point in time, right, where it's like, okay, we can, you know, keep oscillating backwards and forwards in this, you know, what if scenario, or we can just give ourselves permission to say, do you know what, right now it's just about building a bridge. Something doesn't exist, but you are projecting it. It's your vision, right? There's also offers coming forth that are going to be what you need when you need it, right? Now on the 3rd, Juno, asteroid goddess, moves into Scorpio. And here, you know, we're able to forge some quite remarkable and actually fairly unbreakable bonds. So there might be some new alliances, new friendships, new people coming in that in that 9th house energy for you are very much part of your future and the horizon that you're looking towards, you know. And it feels to me that that Knight of Cups, you know, he has this vision, and some might say, well, it's a fantasy. Some might say, you know, you need to kind of come back into the reality of things. But if the reality isn't serving you and isn't showing you solutions and isn't giving you any insight as to the why, then you owe it to yourself. And this is what you do best, right? To link in to a different dimension, a different frequency, a different vibrational energy, to see what you know is on its way to you. Because like I said to you, something is calling you, right? Now on the same day, Mars in Leo, which is also in shadow, by the way, preparing for retrograde next month, is opposing Pluto, and Venus is opposing Jupiter. There is a tenseness, there is a friction, there is a reality check moment, right? and it can be difficult to digest, to process, to kind of come to terms with things as they start to unfold in that first week of November. Nonetheless, it does not stop you from looking at your own life. It's not too late and it's not too soon to start living differently. And I think that's why it's so important this month not to water yourself down for other people, but also not to water down the things that are important to you and what matters to you, because anything that shows up is still transient. Yeah, it's not fixed. And so everything can change, circumstances can change and will change. I want you to keep that in your mind. Now, of course, we will see the 11:11 portal arrive the same day Venus actually moves into Capricorn, and I quite like the deliberate focus that she brings in Capricorn. And you know, you're already like leaning into that 10th house energy as more planets gather in Sagittarius, and thinking about, you know, the legacy that you want to leave, like what's going on in your work and career, the people that are helping you and facilitating what comes next. Daughter of Swords, you see, when you're manifesting around that 11:11 portal, very much about the way that you are talking about things. You know, this month is about perspective, right? And changing your perspective. And you have control over that. Nobody can decide for you. And how you express yourself moving forward seems to make a big difference as to what you start to believe is possible. Do you know, it's like if you keep talking about the fact that there's going to be a way, something's going to show up, like I know the right people are coming in, I can see how this would transform completely, even though it's not clear to me right now. This is the type of conversation you need to be having in any area of your life that feels stuck or dense, because the Fool and the Knight are telling me that something is calling you and that fate has a hand in that. It is being orchestrated. And you know, there may be something that is asking you to allow the ending to happen. You might be trying to hold on to something, cling on to something, and yet in some way, shape or form it's already come to a point of conclusion. And you know, we're going to welcome that Saturn direct in Pisces on the 12th, and it is about the lessons learned, tough lessons that you've had to go through, right? But you have to understand what it is that you've been asked to focus on and really demonstrate to yourself how you've kind of integrated and shift behavior. And that sort of puts you directly in the path to be able to have these conversations that are much more doors opening, green lights. Yes, I can see how to move through and how to move forward with regards to this. And on the 15th, mid-month, when we welcome that full moon in Taurus coming in at 24 degrees, there's a really important conversation that you're going to be having around that time, because that conversation is going to highlight and reveal something to you that will absolutely show you that yes, this can work, or this is doable. And that, you know, when you have been feeling into the doubt or the uncertainty, or just overwhelmed by the discord or the waves of whatever is going on around you, will be absolutely priceless. It will matter, it will be important, and you will hold true to the feeling of that conversation or what happens, because you'll understand that, yeah, that this is something that my body is responding to. Like my energy is saying, yes, I feel the truth in this, okay? It's also bringing about something tangible, something that you can kind of work with. Yeah, you see it as a sort of firm foundation, but you know, it's not taking any prisoners either. It really wants something from you. It wants you to let go or to acknowledge something in regards to your perspective that perhaps is the one thing that is preventing or blocking or getting in the way in regards to something, okay? Of course, Pluto coming out of Capricorn on the 19th, moving us into this age of Aquarius, and you know, it just asks you, what is it, yeah, that you felt shifting so powerfully energetically with that planetary conversation coming to a close. You've got the Ace of Coins here. It's beautiful. It just feels like some area of your life you can already sense the lifting of that heaviness that you've worked through, that's transformed you, turned you inside out, upside down. And now this is a kind of almost like you get a breath of fresh air, and it's like, right, how do I want to move forward? What is the seed I'm planting here? You have something deeply valuable, and I think notably it's your experience, but it's also something that's been gifted to you through the course of November that you are going to be working on and with over the coming weeks and months, and it's really helping to pre-pave and shape your future in many ways, you know. And I think at this point you owe it to yourself to be very direct with people. If there is any aspect of your life where there's confusion or uncertainty coming from someone else's inability to be able to be clear on what they want or where they're at, I think it doesn't have to be your confusion. I think you have to proceed with the plan. You have to understand the thing that matters most to you, and you have to go about creating the conditions and the environment to ensure that you embark upon that pathway, okay? That is what this period through Scorpio season, you know, asks of you. You're going through your own mini death and rebirth, and it's like, how do you want to live your life differently? Because that's what's really coming through quite strongly. I think part of this is also recognition, you know, as we move into Sagittarius season from the 21st, that you have to be your greatest cheerleader. You have to be the one that looks back and, you know, can see the achievements, can receive, you know, the praise and the good things that you've invested and put in to yourself and your life in this 2024. It's leveled you, right? It's not been an easy year, and yet, you know, that feedback loop that you're able to give yourself seems to be absolutely critical when it comes to the fact that we have 3 really powerful energies coming up in November that says something new is incoming, and you've got to grab this. You've got to grab it with, you know, both hands and say, this is mine. Like, this is my time. This is what I want. This is what I've been working towards. This is what I'm gifted in. This is what is right for me. And be really unapologetic in regards to that, okay? There's something being sparked within you. I think the Knight of Cups with the bridge and also that Ace of Wands, you know, there's a passion here being ignited. Now, I talked about unbreakable bonds, so it may be that you also really come into contact with somebody that just feels like a soulmate. Now, that doesn't have to be romantic. It might be for some of you, but it just feels like you've got deep resonance with a soul who's kind of meant to be on your path and coming through, and there's something tied into that that feels directly connected to sort of how you're seen in the world, you know, your reputation, the work that you do, you know, something along these lines. So it may be that somebody comes in professionally, or just somebody opens a door or sees you for who you are, the qualities that you bring, and actually the potential that you've got, right? But you also need to see it in yourself. I hope you know, Pisces. You know, I think that this is a month where that phrase is important. Like, I hope you know how amazing you are right now, given the circumstances that you're in. I hope you know what the future has still to deliver to you that's going to open things up in such extraordinary and remarkable ways and deliver more of the dreams, the hopes, the aspirations that you've been held, you know, back in regards to. It just feels like there's something quite powerful shifting, you know. There's a wave that's cleared the path and cleared the way, and yes, there may be the sense of a lot of debris around, but nonetheless, I just think that, you know, November is this turning point. You're 44 weeks in, right? 8 weeks left of the year, judgment. It's sort of now or never. There's something in your life that you're leaning into. Not necessarily to say it all happens like tomorrow, but, you know, the beginnings of it, the initiation of it, the choices and decisions, the conclusions that you come to, and the way that you then express, this is what's happening, this is where I'm at. Now, bear in mind that we do have a Mercury retrograde arriving on the 25th in Sagittarius, so you'll feel into the shadow from the 7th. You know what happens with these. You're well familiar. You know, there may be some things coming back from the past, people from the past. It's an opportunity to reflect and review. You may well have some issues regarding, you know, tech and travel and plans, and be lucid, be flexible, right? The more adaptable you can be, the easier you'll find that cycle. But of course, we're coming up to that second new moon in November, second chance to kind of really think about, you know, the things that you want to call in and where your focus is going to be. We also have Pallas Athena shifting into Capricorn, which again I love, like her energy in that very diligent, focused place is just feeling like it's going to light something up in terms of the plan or the strategy that you kind of settle on. And maybe that Mercury retrograde is required because it's about picking something back up, or realizing that there was some missing details that, you know, you have to pour back over to ensure that they're included as part of what happens next. Okay, so this is a month that's dramatic, there are fireworks, but for you there's also this kind of clear path that I think is revealing itself all the way through. And so I'd be using that 1111 portal to really call in and make it work for you. Major crossroads moment. Is that easy? No, it isn't. It isn't easy, but it hasn't been easy for a while. So you can do hard, you can do difficult. You know, what you need to do is remember to continue to believe in yourself. Like, that's what's making the difference. Things are being orchestrated and you know it. Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we look at in the extended version of the reading, so you can find the link in the comment and description box underneath. We'll also look at a personal question and a relationship card, so I hope that you'll join me if it's resonating for you. I'm just going to clarify these cards and see the direction we'll take that in. Please do check out my 1111 activations to support you in your rituals this month. And of course my journal arrives in November. It's going to be shipped out. If you've already ordered, thank you. I can't wait to get this to you. If you have yet to see it, please check it out over on the website, and you will find some offers for the pre-orders still available. This is the 3rd in my trilogy of my deck and my book, and I think unlike anything that you have got in your collection, whilst, you know, showing up to be such a beautiful soul companion, it will also really complement like other planners and diaries that you've got. It kind of holds space for so much of what you know about yourself and what you've been through in your spiritual journey, reminding you of things that you need to kind of go back over, particularly when you hit these major crossroads moments. So please go check it out. It's going to be a wonderful gift and an investment to the self as well as to other people, right? It's that season coming in. Okay, the World, I like that. King of Swords, 7 of Pentacles. All the decks that I use are always listed below. Definitely feel like there's some sort of like result of something showing up for you quite strongly this month. Saturn feels like it just wants to acknowledge something that you've been painstakingly investing in. Okay, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle. We've got Enlightened in the Exhale. There we go. Rainbow Dragon and the Wild Rose for 1111. Mirrors of the Mind. We've got Third Eye Energy. Karmic Cause and Effect. We've got Blossoming Soul Song. Such a realization I think you're arriving at this month. Okay, let's have a look at a final oracle for Pisces for the month of November. What do we have here? The Healing Stones, tenderness, care, gentleness, nourishment. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. We'll explore all this in the extended. Thanks for being here. Have a beautiful month of November. Take care of yourself. I'm going to see you again next time.